Hey, how's it going? Etepu, assalamu alaikum. Haroon Nefer, namaste. This is Kasankma Keparu coming to you with another broadcast. And today I want to talk to you. I want to make this a real short broadcast. So today I want to talk to you about using your raw chi force in magic. And this is a very important component of magic if you're looking to have your objective manifest. And I'm going to get into the details of how you can do that. But first, I want you guys who are tuning in to please like the video, subscribe to my channel if you're tuning in for the first time, and share it with friends and family so we can get this revolution started. Now, also, I found something very interesting, and this is France Bardon's book, The Practice of Magical Evocation. And this is really like every magician needs to have this because it has the sigils for all the spirits and entities you can work with. And if you don't have this book in your collection, then you are not a serious magi. But what I did was on my Patreon page, you can go there now in the link in the description box. I put the PDF version, like, shh, don't tell anybody. I put the PDF version up on there for you so you won't have to actually pay for the book. But you should always purchase books on Amazon, though, to support the authors. But if you're in a financial dire straits, you go to Patreon and you can download the book there. And you should also support my Patreon campaign. And there's a lot of good information there that you'll be getting on a monthly basis. And as I always say, you can support it for as little as $1. So there's no excuses, okay? So support the campaign. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty of this. And that is, as a magician, as a spiritualist, you want your magic to manifest. A lot of people will work with things and work with magic and wonder, why isn't it manifesting? Why what I want does not come to fruition? And there are two main reasons. I got to write this down so I don't forget to give you guys this secret. There's two main reasons, okay? And one, which is the most important, is your raw energy force. Ra, the energy of the sun. You absorb that in your body. Ra was a very prominent deity in ancient Kemet, okay? And the ancient Egyptians, also, the raw force energy is also symbolized by a serpent, okay? And so you say, well, why is the sun? Because you'll see like a lot of the deities with the sun disk above them, which is Ra. But why are you saying the serpent? Well, the serpent, is, in ancient times when you would get bit by a snake, it would feel like an electrical shock going up your body. It would stun you. It would feel very, very painful. And that became the analogy or the symbolism of the Ra force, Qi energy, as the Chinese call it, Ki, Ki energy, as the Japanese call it, and Kundalini, as in India, as they call it, the Hindu religion. So this is a really a necessary component for having your magic work, because magic relies heavily upon energy. Energy is like the battery that powers not only your physical get body, but it also powers your ritual to bring that which is your objective to manifestation. Without it, you cannot have what you want. And that is the first prerequisite, and that's why many people fail. And I'm going to explain how important Ra is, not from a religious perspective of the ancient Kemetic religion, but from a magic perspective, because this transcends just ancient Kemet, as I've gone and talked about the other cultures and what it's called in other cultures, but it really gets to the base and the core function of magic. And even in the Christian religion, you'll see Jesus, in the back of Jesus, you'll see the Son of God, So you'll see how important this whole concept of raw energy is. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about energy, so don't forget that. So if you are a student of things like the law of attraction, or if you, Vadim Zaylan, his book, Reality Transurfing, is, I've recommended to you guys, a very thick book, or this book, Super Accelerated Learning, living. I was actually reading the Super Accelerated Learning. But anyway, both those books have one thing in common, that the prerequisite for making these things happen is excitement. It is energy. It's drawing upon that energy. And the way that this is done is through a visualization. You visualize something you want, but the visualization is just to facilitate the channeling of the energy. All right. So that is what is important. You have to gather up that raw chi energy of Kundalini to be able to channel that into the objective. And the objective is going to be the image you have of you obtaining the thing that you desire the most. Now, the first thing I said was in magic, your magic is that it doesn't come to fruition. I said the first thing is raw energy. That's missing. The chi force is missing. A lot of people don't have enough of that. And in some books, that self-help books, I read one author and he was 100% correct. He says, you must want the thing with all of your heart. And that again is kind of like channeling all your energy. There's this thing where it's built into us. It's a primitive mechanism called fight and flight, right? Fight or flight, right? And what the body does is that when you're under attack by an animal or something like that, it channels all of your blood, right, and into your brain, and it channels all your blood to the I think it's the autonomic nerve system to allow you to get out of the situation quickly. All right, without thinking about it, so that it's an instinctual reaction. All right, so that you're not paralyzed. So basically, it is taking the blood and the energy away from things like the digestive system, because that's not needed when the predator is after you. So this is kind of like the same thing, is that you need to now take a storehouse of energy and then funnel that into the objective of what you desire. So you'll find that in the ancient traditions, the priests and the magicians, they would go on a fast, or they would refrain from sex, they would refrain from speaking. They take a vow of celibacy, a vow of not speaking, because they need to channel that energy for a certain period of time, to conserve that energy for a certain period of time, then channel it into the thing that they desire the most. And that is important. This is why I introduced Stoicism and Mineb and Ankh and Ma'at, so that you are not basically out there, like casting your energy out in every little thing. And in this society, especially with the rap music, they're specifically, and it's a clandestine attempt to get you to use your chi force on every little thing, to be overreactive, to be a hyper consumer, to just buy on impulse and not think about it. So this is expending your chi energy, all right, when you need to be storing it up. So when you get into the more advanced levels of magic, such as sex magic, where you and your partner refrain from sex for a certain period of time, and then you have sex, and then when you're reaching the orgasm, both you and your partner visualize the objective, and the orgasm, that energy is channeled into the objective, so it comes and it basically mushrooms into what you desire. So this is important to keep in mind. This is high advanced magic. Now, for you, as I said before, all these books have the same prerequisite, is that you, and they'll use different terms. They won't say chi or ra or the force, as in Star Wars, which is the same thing. The only thing that's wrong with the force is there isn't a dark or light side. It's just one energy, and it's depending on how you use it, the physical get body, it comes through you and it's filtered. So if you're using it for an evil purpose because your vibration is evil, or you're operating in a very selfish, individualistic act. So think about that. So anyway, not only do you have to have the raw chi force or the energy, but what they translate that into is excitement. They'll say, if you want something, you have to channel that excitement into it. You have to be very excited about it, which is true. You hear like Bashar, Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar, and Bashar says, well, they ask him, well, how do you manipulate reality? How do you shift to an alternate universe to where you're interacting with the thing you want? And he says, follow your highest excitement. And that's literally kind of true. What excites you the most? A person came to me the other day and was like, well, I want to start a business. What business do I start? I said, what business excites you the most? And that will be easy for you to manifest the money that business can bring you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a key thing. Now, the second thing that people fall short on in their magic is consistency. They'll hold the image and hold the excitement for maybe a week, a couple of days, and that's it. You must consistently, day by day, for at least 28 days, hold that excitement for the thing you want, irrespective of what the fourth dimensional plane is showing you. So it happens to me all the time. When I'm involved in a very deep magic formula or ritual, I'll get into arguments or situations that are not exactly the opposite of what I want. But that is the echo effect. That is reality saying, do you still want this reality? And if you react to it, then that's telling it, yes, I still want that reality. Rather than react to it, get the visualization of what you want and become excited and ignore what's going on in front of you because it's a false representation. Do you understand? So you have to be the thing you're aspiring to get and be excited about it, to tune into that particular frequency, because the energy comes in different frequencies, and you have to look at this analogy, picture raw force, the rays of the sun coming down through a prism and then spreading out to a myriad of different colors. Those are different frequencies, okay? So you have to find the correct frequency that will allow you to interact with the thing or manifest the thing that you want. Now remember, when we say manifest, you can't create anything. You can only vibrate to a certain frequency where the thing that you want is existing in that parallel world where you can interact with it. Okay, so keep that in mind, because you can't create anything because all that is already created. You can neither add to it or subtract from it. God is complete. God made everything, and that's all there is. All right. In other words, you have existence. Nothing can exist, or non-existence does not exist within existence. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have existence and then within existence, non-existence. All right. So in other words, the thing that you want does already exist. It cannot not exist. All right, that's a tongue twister. All right, so keep that in mind. So it exists in some form, way, or which is really what I was going to is energy waves, because that's what everything is. It's just an energy wave. And quantum mechanics tells us that when we focus on something, the energy wave on a quantum level collapses to the particle shapes that it comes the thing that we want. Okay, so that's based on your belief system and your highest excitement, which goes back to the channeling the raw force. So you have to learn that before you're going to be beginning your ritual or your magic, that what you want, you must have the right energy, enough of that energy, enough of that excitement to get you going, that you want that thing more than anything in the world. Okay, where you're dreaming about it. When you want something so much that you go in and you take it into your dreams, and you're doing it right. I always say you have to become obsessed with it. Obsession or possession. I take it further to that. You're possessed by the spirit of that thing. And that's when you know it's going to come to you. Now, the other thing is you got to find the right frequency of that thing. And we do this to mantras or hakals. This is coming out of the Vedic tradition of Sanskrit. So the mantra resonates at a certain frequency. So the mantra for money, a mantra for wealth, a mantra for warding off evil spirits. There are different mantras. And by reciting those mantras, sometimes 108 times, sometimes 1,200 times, you're vibrating at that particular frequency to where the thing that you want, it'll manifest for you. Does that make sense? Now, the mantra is acting as a type of an energy to invoke the energy within you, so that the particles that you're made of subatomic particles, will start to vibrate. And you're vibrating on that particular frequency. Did you feel me there? Okay. So that's one of the things you want to do. Just for example, going back to Franz Barton's book, when he talks about the evocation, bringing interdimensional beings, or we'll say the correct word, spirit to this realm. Because there are a lot of chapters that deal with that, right? But you can't do that if you don't create an energy field in this realm that's conducive and aligns to their energy field that exists in their realm. So in order for them to come here and to work with you and assist you in your objective, you first have to put things on the ritual table that are based on the energy that they are used to in their realm, okay? Because you have to create an ecosystem that's very similar to their realm here. All right. And if you don't do that, they can't come here. That's like saying, I want a fish as a pet. You take the fish out of water and you're holding the fish. The fish can't breathe in the oxygen environment. You have to create another similar environment like the sea that it came from or the ocean that it came from. So you have to create a tank, a fish tank, and put the fish in the tank. Same thing with bringing in spirits here. And that's what Franz Barton is talking about, is creating an energy field. All right. And other people out there who become very accustomed to this type of energy manipulation can see auras. So they're very good and acute at seeing people's auras. If people have sicknesses, if they're feeling happy, if they're feeling sad, you can read that through your aura. Now, when you get very advanced, you can move up from the reciting of the mantra to working on things like Qigong. Now, Qigong is perfect because Qigong also has mantras, all right? But Qigong has very sophisticated movements that will allow you to manipulate the energy centers in your body. Those energy centers are what we call the chakras, okay? The head chakra, the heart chakra. So when you're manipulating those chakras, you're manipulating specific chakras to summon that energy. And I talked about this before of creating like an energy ball, and the energy ball can be directed at somebody. You can actually feel the energy ball, and you can direct it at somebody who may need healing. If you're into the dark arts, you can direct it at somebody and you can make them very sick. You know what I mean? So be careful not to do that. Now, one of the things I talked about before was that the Qigong, the great thing about it is that it has mantras, and these mantras are meant to heal the chakras or the energy system. So, for example, if you have a heart problem, a liver problem, a neck problem, there's mantras to help work with all those things by manipulating the energies and the meridians and things. So, what you want to do is start to recite the mantra, and then one of the master mantras for invoking the Ra Chi force energy is Ha, H-A, and it goes like this. It goes Ha. And if you start reciting that, you can actually feel the energy, and you'll feel more assertive. You'll feel more awake. Okay, so that's a very good mantra. I've been using that mantra for years. Another thing you can do that's very helpful, because you want to get into like pranayama or prana breathing techniques. And these breathing techniques would allow you to manipulate the energy in your body. There's very advanced breathing techniques to manipulate the energy. And the one thing that we can practice is what they call is fire breathing. That's quick breaths. And those quick breaths then basically summon the energy within you. And it's good for those people who need to wake up in the morning instead of a cup of coffee, or you involved in martial arts and you need to really get aggressive and get mean to win in a tournament, mixed martial arts or whatever, or if you're doing a race and you need to control breathing, or, things like that. And also gave you guys another breathing technique that will help you to relax, manipulating the energy so that you don't have too much energy, that you can relax and store the energy. So basically what I was saying was, any type of magic you're performing, the main thing that you need to be focused on is summoning the energy for the magic to work. Now, the tools you put on your ritual table are principally of the four elements. You have earth, fire, water, air. And those are a given. But the other things that you would put on there are things such as the herbs, the powders, that align with the energy of what you're trying to invoke. So those things attract energy, or those things emit the energy that you need. And you can manipulate that energy, because if you're burning the incense, that's bringing the right energy into the atmosphere. If you have the herbs are giving off vibrations of the energy that's perfect for you to manipulate and use, because your body is a battery. Okay, so your battery has a chi force energy in it that you can use. But when you're putting these other things on your ritual table, they're emitting an energy, right? So if they're emitting the energy, depending upon the thoughts and beliefs that you have, remember, a belief is basically a thought empowered by an emotion. So a belief doesn't have to be right or wrong. You can have a belief that's correct, and you can have a belief that's wrong, because essentially by nature, the belief is anything that you have, again, the thought empowered by a strong emotion. That's why you have some people who are passionate about their objective, but their belief system is all skewed. Like, you may have people who believe that the planet needs to be depopulated because it's overpopulated, but that's them with this passion and emotion empowering a wrong thought system. So anyway, going to what I was saying before, you are using that energy that's being emitted by your ritual table, and you're manipulating that energy, and it's giving you more power. Okay. Western civilization, our left brain thinking teaches us, well, if you need energy, you have to look at a power plant or a battery or some type of source, but you are the energy emitter. One of the things that you can do is that when you're reciting your mantra, you would get a quartz crystal and recite your mantra, and charge the quartz crystal, and then make sure that you tag that quartz crystal with the mantra you charge, say for example, attracting love. And you can always use that crystal when you're looking to attract love, or if it's one for money, you're looking to attract money, because now that quartz crystal is charged. All right, it has your energy in it. You've charged it with your energy. And you can do that on a full moon. You can also put that quartz crystal in water, because water is a good conductor, and put your hand over it or in it, and then recite the mantra, and it will charge not only the crystal, but the water as well. And you can put the water on your ritual table, and that will give you more energy. These are things that help to facilitate your magic. Now, you may have heard, and this is true, all these things are really just a permission slip. You don't really need these things. If you have a strong enough faith and a strong enough belief system, and that you want something with all of your being, then what that's going to do is going to channel all of your energy into that one thing. But you have to be careful, because sometimes you'll be narrowly focused, and you'll have blinders on, and you won't see other things that are going on. I used to do that a lot, and my life would fall apart around here, but I was going toward that objective, but everything here was just a mess, So you have to be careful of that. All right. So that is what you want to work on. Now, as you get more advanced, there's other things that you can do. So when you for example, you can, there are certain things, I don't want to get too much into this, where you can allow the spirits or energies to come within you. Okay. For example, if I wanted to be a great lover, or a great karate fighter, like the Karate Kid, right? I can let the energy we can say spirit, same thing, the energy come inside me and take over my body, so that if I'm playing a musical instrument, I play perfectly. If I'm doing a sports competition, I win. And that's a very advanced form of possession and energy manipulation. So that gets higher into the things. So I just want to take a break and just say hi, Hatepu Suan, Hatepu Star. And try using these different tools that I've given you in your magical practice. And remember, the first thing is you need that raw chi force, the kundalini, or the ki. And you have to have it consistently. A lot of people fall short of that, which is why their objective is never reached. Now, also keep this in mind. This is very, very important. A lot of people who practice transurfing and who practice the super accelerated living, they say that, oh, I never achieve the objective and I was working so hard. There are certain things that are kept from you depending upon your destiny or your incarnation objective. If you made a soul contract or a pre-life contract not to have certain things, no magic formula, no magic spell, no kundalini energy is going to allow you to get it, because your higher self has made that agreement with you. You understand what I'm saying? Your higher self says you will not, for example, in this lifetime, you will not have wealth. Deal with it. And no one's going to break that agreement, because you made the agreement, your higher self. And in speaking about that, always be cognizant of the fact that something is observing you, something is watching you. All right. And this is why in ancient Kemet, you have the all-seeing eye. What is watching you? What is observing you? Well, in the Christian tradition, the Catholic tradition, they say it's your guardian angel. But in the Kemetic tradition, we know that this is your higher self watching you. It is the higher self which is watching you and creating scenarios for you to go through so that you can fulfill your pre-life agreement or your soul contract. This is what it's doing. Now, you may curse it out. You may get upset, because you may have been driving and crashed your car, and your car is totaled, and now this is going to cause you to not make your mortgage payment, because you got to put it all into your car so you can get to work. Well, that is part of the destiny that you've chosen, and you can just look at it and say, well, I'm the one that set that up. I'm the one that created that. You know what I mean? But which is why also there's a flip side to that coin. Even though there may be one thing that's kept from you, there's many more things that you can still have. Because if you go by the premise, and this is a core belief that I have incorporated into my magic, And I think that that's why a lot of these other magical practices fall short, is that you have to really, at the core, understand that you are God. You are God man, God woman. Because if you don't understand that, you're already socially engineered and programmed by the society that you see around you to believe that you're human. And if you believe that you're human, then you believe that you're powerless. That's a thought thread that has a certain logic to it. And in NLP, we call that the metaframe. Most of us have accepted the metaframe. The metaframe is I'm human, I have no control of the outside world. In fact, Stoicism, the Stoics, Zeno, um, accepted that. And that's the one thing I found that was a problem with Stoicism, was that, hey, you know what? You guys are just so pessimistic about it, when you don't understand that the reality that you're experiencing is really created by your higher self, and that you can change it. So there's no need to be pessimistic about life. What you need to do, though, is to be stoic, but also be joyful, carry heteru, knowing that you have some control over this fourth dimensional experience. You don't have absolute 100% control, because we know we're living in a space-time continuum. What does that mean? That means when I think of something and I want to manifest it, it takes time to manifest. That's because in this experience, we are subject to process, to a start, a middle, and an end. Process. All right. And that process is here for a reason. Because if you could manifest things instantaneously, like in the fifth dimensional realm, there would be chaos in this realm. People would be manifesting everything and anything involuntarily. People have a crazy thought, something comes up. So it's good that we have that delay in between what we think and what manifests. And again, this is due because we're in linear space-time, and there is that process. We are experiencing process. But when you're in the fifth dimension, where there is oneness, there's no separation. There's no time. There's non-linear time-space. In fact, there's no space. You understand? So you have to think of it that way. So I can get more detailed into the whole thing about magic and what other tools that you can use. But I've given you some great things to start with, and go get the quartz crystal, because they easily get charged with energy. And I think that's starting out. And sometimes I'll purchase some herbs that align with the thing I want, such as herbs that attract money. And I'll put the quartz crystal in the herb itself, in the herbs, and let it sit there for our spell. Let me just read this. Do you think lucid dreaming will one day become lucid living, like instant manifestation and flying tools? Well, lucid dreaming, that's another realm. That is another realm, and that is another reality in and of itself. So there's no reason for it to become will one day become lucid living, like instant manifestation. No, it's another realm, because here in this fourth dimensional realm, there's a purpose for you being here, and what we call is really third density. Okay, kind of like third density. So there's a reason for you being here, and that is to learn, to grow. And you can't learn and grow if there is no process. So in lucid dreaming, things just start to manifest like crazy, and therefore there's not a lot of learning out of that, because things just instantaneously manifest and things change. So your spirit is striving to become a seer. And in order to do that, there has to be that process, okay? So, and that process is of experience, and you need the experience. And then you will graduate into different realms and different levels of existence. As I said before, it takes many incarnations to become Osir, and then once you become Osir, you have the opportunity to make a choice. You can stay in the inner planes, or you can come back to this fourth dimensional plane to help guide other souls or help guide other people. So that is an important thing. So people are wondering why they're catching hell on earth and why they're here. Well, you're here because your spirit has a theme or a destiny it must explore, so that the universe can experience itself, if you want to say it that way, which is what's really happening. You are God experiencing yourself. You know what I mean? So I've always said you have to look at it that way. You have to start using that word, I am God, and stop trying to appeal to an external force. Because when you try to appeal to external force, as the NLP tells us, neuro-linguistic programming, you're programming yourself to accept the idea of an external outside savior, and that you're waiting for that individual to come and save you. But really, it's just you. So when I say, oh, if you can really perceive this, that something is watching you, and it's really you that's watching you, the observer watching yourself, okay, as you go through this life and experience things, all right? And so we need to graduate to that point of where we refer to ourselves as God man, God woman, and start saying, God, why is this happening? God, what is this? No, 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 no. Don't say that. Say, why did I choose to manifest this? What belief system did I accept that manifested this? You know, when you start understanding that, your power, you start to get more powerful, because then your belief system changes and your magic becomes more potent and more instantaneous, because now you've accepted the fact that you are powerful. But we're still carrying the old programming, the old social engineering, with the idea that I'm appealing to some outside force to intervene and give me what I want. Oh, you want to know the name of the purple book? It's Franz Barden. This is the, as I said, Bardon, Franz Barden. You can get this on my Patreon page. So go to the link below and you can download a PDF copy of it, but keep it hush. I don't want the word to get out and then him to do some magical thing to get back at me from doing that. So I also talked about one thing in my last broadcast that will really, really empower your magic. And you should incorporate this into your ritual, and that's gratitude. So when you are, and for some reason, it works and it's very powerful. So when you're doing your magic and you're focusing on your objective, be thankful of what you have now. And it could be anything. You can say, I'm thankful for having this drink. I'm thankful for having this bed. I'm thankful for being able to wake up in the morning. And for some reason, that's energy to your soul. Okay, it's energy, and it helps you to manifest the power, because it's actually a truism, if you know what I mean. So we know Ma'at is truth, right? And Ma'at is what? The daughter of Ra, and it says that truth feeds Ra. Okay, and that's correct, because when you have truth, it allows the energy to flow. It feeds Ra. Okay, and Ra again is a very powerful deity. I guess you're right. We manifest instantly. We misuse it, like giving a child a weapon. I think we can relearn how to reconnect. I've been trying. Yeah, it's cool. Don Hetepu, how are you doing, Star? And Star also Hetepu. And no worries. Okay, so that is a secret. We will, if you guys want, I can get deeper into magical practices. And guys, you can go through the initiation process and become damn good. And I'm going to tell you something about magic. Sometimes what you want can manifest. Other times it doesn't. But never get upset or disheartened, because what's important is that every magic, every ritual or magical incantation or whatever that you do, the most important thing is to learn from it. And I learned from a lot. I'll do something and it doesn't work, and I write down what worked and what didn't work, and I'll go back and try it again. And it's a learning process. There's no one size fits all. If I have a spell, or if I have a ritual I perform and I give that one to you, it may not work for you. So this is why when a lot of you come to me and you're asking me to put a program together for you, a ritual together for you, or something, I have to do readings on everything. I have to do readings on the herbs, the crystals, the mantras, to make sure they're going to work for you. Because a mantra for attracting money can work for me, but a mantra may not work for you, because there may be something else blocking the attraction to the money. You may have something that comes from, a past experience in the past life, or something to do with your family that has created a false belief system to where you don't feel entitled to money. And no money herb or a mantra is going to be able to attract it for you unless you deal with that father or mother issue. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. All right. So I donate to the PayPal if you can, and become a Patreon supporter if you want more information on magical practices and stuff. So if you want the Francis Barden book, go to the Patreon and you can download that. You don't have to be a supporter. It's free on that. And if you feel as though you're ready to take the next step, I would highly recommend getting the Super Accelerated Learning, because it talks a lot about what I talked about. It doesn't go into like higher advanced stuff such as the mantras and the manipulation of the energies and all that, but it does talk about holding the image, getting the excitement, and it spells out actually I think a 3 or 4 day plan for you, and I think that's a really good thing. And if you're feeling really enthusiastic, get trans surfing. Vadim Zeland, he's a Russian physicist. So you want to check this out. It's really good because you can read a chapter every day or a chapter a week, however you want to do it. And it'll help you to live a better and more prosperous life, because life will kick your butt. You know what I mean? And really, it's you kicking your butt, because you're the one that's manifesting the obstacles and the challenges. You just don't realize that you're doing it. And it's trying to help you. I did a reading with the I-Ching oracle. I said, why are you kicking my butt? Why are you kicking my butt? It says, I'm pushing you toward Osir. What? It says, I'm pushing you to get deeper and deeper into your magic. I said, I thought I was already deep enough, you know? It says, no, you need to be deeper and deeper. And I'm like, oh man, how deep do you want me to go down the rabbit hole? This is some crap, man. And you can get mad, but you got to get mad at yourself. And I always think back, wait, why did I make this agreement? Was I on drugs? Like, why did I do that? I said, damn me. I said, is there a do-over? Can I do this over? And you're like, no, you cannot. And you said to us, if Kasab doesn't, if he disagrees and he bitches, don't listen to him. And I'm like, I said that to you guys? And like, yes, you did. So there you go. That's how it's done. So anyway, this is Kasab Ma'a Keparu, son of Ma'at and Amun Ra.